It's the Dirty Sheets back after WrestleMania weekend. Our boy Billy flew on over to LA, so we're going to get the scoop on Billy's thoughts of WrestleMania, what happened during WrestleMania, some of the people he ran into, some of the nonsense that was tweeted about them running, quote-unquote, into him, which, I could stand next to somebody and never acknowledge that the person is next to me, and then when they leave, I could say, see, they ran from me, and we'll get into it. This show's probably going to be a two-parter because we got a lot to talk about. So we'll get into it right away. I'm Cab Manning from the Lingus Mafia podcast. All my nonsense, patreon.com/Lingus Mafia. Look for me on Twitter at Lingus Mafia if you want everything to get through to Billy. Just hit me up there. I could relay things because we're going to start off with a question that I did get on Twitter this morning from somebody. But before that happens, this is Mr. Billy Body. How do you do there, jet lagger?
Yeah, I'm struggling with that. Getting back right
That's
this time.
rough.
The West Coast, horrible. Yeah, it's worse for Austin. I did it for Vegas as well. It's the same time difference. I got out of it, come back into it. I was only home for 3 weeks and we flew back out to LA from Vegas. Vegas, London, then LA. This one's a little bit harder, but Austin's just like fucking, just going to sleep.
Sleeping midday.
Just go to sleep at like 3, 4 in the morning and waking up at 5 in the afternoon. So yeah,
wow.
needs to stop.
So the first question that before we get into our rundown, I wanted to make sure one of the fans had a question for you, and they said, "Does Billy know anything about what is up with Bayley?" She had a cryptic tweet where it was like, "Sometimes everything comes to an end, time to move on," something like this, and said bye on Twitter. Is her contract done? Is she going somewhere? Is this just, I need a break because I keep losing to everything? Is she scheduled for vacation? What is the deal? Or maybe you don't know anything about it.
Yeah, I think the only thing that I know is that they're done with Damage Control. Vince never liked it in the first place. And I think if they were continuing on, they have to win that match. I even said that in the preview. I just said that if you lose, you're losing to these part-timers, these mums that come in and beat you. There's no real place to go. And I didn't expect the result of that match to be what it was either. And when it did happen, it was a clear indicator to me that they were going to be shortly done. And then on Monday, you were basically told that they were done. So her tweet was in relation to the group. It was not in relation to her, I don't believe. I think she'll go on to do something else. I don't think they'll release her or anything like that. But yeah, the group is done. I mean, Vince didn't like it. It's a Triple H thing. And I think that's just, a kind of a swinging your dick kind of move, like in terms of trying to signify that I'm in charge. The same way it can be seen that way for the rehiring of the people that he fired. So we may see some of this in the next few months, like in terms of reestablishing where the power lies.
I got you. Okay. Thank you for the question, by the way. So let's start in with, you got to LA and right off the bat, you were like, hey, I heard Arnold Schwarzenegger is going to be over at this, Muscle Beach or something like this. And he was there with fucking Dolph Lundgren, which is fucking fantastic. It is, age is a horrible thing, Billy. It really, just ask Trish Stratus. But age is a horrible thing. We're more jacked than Arnold at this point. And, Mr. Olympia over there. But he signed for your son. You tried to have something signed for yourself, actually, because it's always, people think you send your son for these things. Meanwhile, it's your son. I've never seen fucking Billy in a picture with a wrestler. It's all his son. So I don't see where it's... Billy wants to get close to the wrestlers because he doesn't have a fucking picture with anybody. So you try to get, it's different. Like I say, it's different. You go up to Arnold Schwarzenegger than if you go up to a fucking wrestler. I'd rather go up to Arnold Schwarzenegger. You said he was a little grumpy?
Yeah, I will go up and have my picture taken with Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yes.
And I will get something signed if possible. I wouldn't have actually gone for the second item. Like, I got a couple of bits. If someone's really friendly, I always Austin always tries to get something signed, and then if they're super friendly, you'd be like, fuck it, I'll chuck another thing out there if they're super friendly.
Yeah, you
people.
measure it. You weigh the situation.
Yeah, exactly. Otherwise, you just go for your photo, right?
Yeah.
But he was not that guy. So I went for the second item because the first item, he signed it on the wrong side of the toy box. Now, we had my friends were already out in LA before me because I wasn't 100% going to this whole thing, remember? So when I did decide to go, I decided to keep it short, down to 5 days. They were already there, and they were already down at the Venice Beach side of things, and they were doing things down there. And they were like, holy shit, we've seen Arnold every day at this gym.
Jeez.
So I was like, what gym is this? They were like, Gold's Venice Beach. So obviously, probability is like, if he's going, they've been there 2 days, they've trained they've been there 3 days, they've trained twice, seen him twice. So, and they've also seen Jean-Claude Van Damme. So I ordered an Arnie action figure, and had it sent to a mailbox down in Staples in LA. Mm-hmm. Quickly picked it up, just went to my hotel, like an Amazon box, picked it up, went down there. Austin had the figure, he signed it, but his assistant went, no filming, like I was taking a photo. It was like no filming. And this is funny because he'd just been filmed training with Dolph Lundgren by loads of like bystanders in the gym, but it didn't stop them from stopping him, from not training, from not filming him training. So he said, no filming. So I was like, okay, I put the camera down. I got the one photo of him signing that thing. I went in for my own thing, and I went, oh, can I get a picture, please? And my friend did the same. And he was like, no, sorry, he's got, and his assistant was like, no, sorry, he's got to go. So you can't really say anything to that. There's nothing you can say at that point. Yeah. But so, yeah, he didn't sign my bit, which was just a Gold's Gym cap that I bought. So afterwards, we got that same cap signed by Dolph Lundgren. And Dolph Lundgren, like, he was more like talkative. Oh, where are you from? Oh, my God, you're from London. We're going to be there.
It's always
soon.
A plus if you're out of a country and you visit somewhere, because it's the same as being a fan of the sports team that is not local. Those fans, because you're not getting swarmed by the whole stadium. You have, a little group that you talk to. Like, I've gone and, when I've gone to Mets games, they've thrown me a ball in particular and they pointed to my hat, and it was like, yeah, it's that's always if you want to go to your own hometown's place, just wear a different person's hat and they'll throw you a ball. But, yeah, because so when you're always saying you're from England or whatever, they're always like, oh, shit, like, you're not from around here, so, you get a little bit of a different treatment. I might as well just go around and start doing the accent and say I'm from London.
Yeah, I mean, this only mattered to one guy. Like, it mattered to Dolph Lundgren, but like, I know Lundgren was relatively friendly with everybody anyway, because, my mate had got him about an hour before me, because he got him as he was coming in. I got him after Arnie went, because I had the Gold's Gym cap left over. So, I mean, everything I bought got signed. Mm-hmm. Just not particularly happy with the Arnie signature. I don't think I showed you, did I? Or did I show you or not?
I did. I saw the action figure signed, and I saw the hat signed by Dolph, and the picture of Dolph with your son.
Yeah, I mean, the action figure is not as bad as I'm making it sound. It's just not on the right. It would have really popped on the other side, but it's still going to get certified and authenticated and everything on that side. And I still had an immediate offer for it, where someone said, I'll give you $500 for that.
Wow.
And I was just like, nah.
Jesus.
No. Oh, hold on. I sent you the action figure before, not when it was signed. I'm just saying, look for our photos.
Oh, I didn't. I didn't see. What did he sign in the back of the box?
No. He signed, where it opens up, where the plastic is?
Yeah.
He signed on not on the plastic, but on the inside of the box. So if you open it, you can see the figure. I think an old man in him thought, I shouldn't sign over the figure because you won't be able to see it properly.
Oh, I got you. Yeah. Mm.
Whereas the figure collectors, we don't really care about that.
Oh yeah. So you just sent me the picture that, yeah, he signed like when it's one of those open figures to where you open it kind of like a book and you have a picture of the action figure on the left side and then the actual action figure in the plastic in the other side, and he signed the open book part, which I guess if you display that, you could have it in an open, something like that in a case of some
Oh, you
sort.
would. I mean, you'd have it open anyway. Like if you display either side, like you'd have it. That's how I've got my Christopher Lloyd, but my Christopher Lloyd signed on the plastic. This one's signed obviously on the cardboard, and I honestly just think that his mindset was not to destroy the figure because that would be weird because it's a kid's figure. My mindset was probably just I'll sign on this side so the figure looks complete, like as you can see it all. I'm not sure. Like I think in future. I know people like these paint pens; they're very popular at the moment.
Yeah.
But for me, I've had a lot of bad experiences with them. I've had WWE stuff done in these paint pens where it's starting to crack.
They crack. I've always had a smear.
Yeah, they crack. No, not the smear. I haven't had the smear. I've had the crack, like where it dries and there's little cracks in it. So I think in future, I'm just going to go black. Like just like when Jake the Snake decided to sign stuff at breakfast for free. We just went black and it was safe, and straight away I got the comment of, "Oh, didn't you have any paint pens?" It's like, no, I did, but I'm done with that shit. So yeah.
So you go from meeting some cool people to meeting a complete douchebag, and you do the same thing that I always fuck up, and you did the same thing on Twitter, which I laughed about because you called him Sap, and it was Satin. Because I go, yeah, it's the same fucking person. What the fuck? So you're walking around like it's was it WrestleCon at that point, and you see from it wasn't WrestleCon. Where was it?
This is a WWE hotel.
Okay, that hotel, and you see from a distance, kind of to the side, you see what you think you recognize as somebody, and it happens to be Satin.
I know this is Ryan Satin, and he knows it's me. Because like we made eye contact before, as he mentions in the video, last time. And last time he power walked up the escalator, and I left him because he was walking too fast.
I remember that.
And I knew that. And he power walked up the escalator, and this time he hid behind a van. But I remembered like his tweet where he turned around and goes, "Just walked past Billy Barty after all this time." He had his chance, but he wasn't about it or something, and didn't say anything to
It's the keyboard tough guy shit. And you know what? That's what's funny, because you kind of let things lie, and then you hearken back to it in your brain, and it fucking gets you fucking boiling.
Yeah, and that was the thing. I remembered that as much as obviously the Sean Ross Sapp incident, and now obviously with that Sapp incident, like people have seen bits of it. My son has been conveniently edited out. Anytime where, I mean, not every time, but a lot of the times where I very loudly and clearly said, let's fucking go outside. Let's do it. Let's go outside. Go outside now. Let's go outside. The amount of times I said that has been cut out. It's been reduced down to, I think, maybe one or two times on the videos.
Nonetheless, you did say, let's go outside. I mean, that was clear. Right. You've said it. Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, nonetheless, like that video was significantly reduced to make him look as good as possible. And he obviously thought, and his fucking loser listener base had interpreted that as him being some kind of hero. Of course they would. Just on the basis that I said, I'm going to fucking hit this guy if I see him. Never thinking I'd see him whilst I was with Austin, because I do a lot of trips without. And I had seen him in other trips without Austin, and he did nothing. But obviously, as I said, I go back to the situation and say it was all filmed by someone else. The plan was for him to get hit and for that video to be turned in. I know that was the plan. I know that was the setup, which is why I was trying to get him to go outside. But when you look at the verbal side of it, it wasn't, the full video isn't very much different to this one with Ryan Satin. Ryan Satin did not fucking want it at all. I said every fucking thing to this motherfucker about his weight, about his content, about his girlfriend, about what fucking pussy he was, other words I won't repeat, but everything that you could possibly say to a man to get a response. Even when he turned around and goes, I'm working, I'm a professional. I was like, when are you not working? When are you not working? Well, let's do it when you're not working.
And then it was, I'm an adult, I'm not fighting anyone. That's what
Well,
it turned into.
you tell it, because this is going to come across like, oh, Billy's giving his version.
Yeah.
There's only one version. We both watched the video, so I'll let the other guy speak about it.
Yeah, I mean, I have the video. I've had people go, "Hey, can I see the video?" And it's Billy like leaning over a railing, trying to get as close as he can, and yelling at him to his face, while the other guy Satin is sitting there, with his looking at his phone, and you see that he's kind of nervous about maybe you're gonna swing, so he's kind of like backed up a little bit and smoking. Or is that a vape? I can't tell the fucking difference. And he's just like doing the chuckle, like, I'm working. I'm not gonna fight you. I'm an adult. I'm not gonna fight you. I'm an adult. But you make a very good point to him, and it's pretty much the only thing that needs to be said and left and done. Is you said you guys, as in this little shit community that they have, were all about very convenience. When it comes to you, where it was, oh, fucking Billy's a pussy. He uses his son as an excuse to say that's why he couldn't fight. And then when it is not to their advantage because your son is there again and you said, my friend's watching my son, let's fucking go. It's, you're going to fight in front of your son? So all of a sudden now it's... You're a horrible parent because you're willing to fight in front of your son. And when you weren't willing to fight in front of it, it was there's your fucking bodyguard security, your son. And that's the reason why you're pussing out and using your son as an excuse. So it's, you can't fucking win. It's, hey, the sky is blue, and they say, no, it's not. And you're like, it's fucking right here. What are you talking about? So that was his fucking bullshit.
I'm happy for you to insert that piece of audio in, like that exact part, because that is significant, because it's a no-win situation for me. If I don't fight, I'm a pussy and my son's an excuse.
Yeah.
And if I do fight, oh my God, how dare you? How can you do this in front of your son? Well, there's a big difference. My son was with a guy that I've known for 18 years this time. And had the shit hit the fan, there'd been an arrest or whatever, my son would have been upset, but he would have been with somebody that he knew who came to Survivor Series with us as well, and he would have still got to WrestleMania. I wouldn't have done. Well, I probably would have hit him and still attempted to get to WrestleMania, where they would have had to find me there or when I got back to the hotel or whatever. But ultimately, it was a very different situation. It wasn't my son alone with the police waiting for his mum to catch a flight over until I got bail or whatever. It was my son with a friend I'd known for 18 years and could still see from where he was that I was going to beat the fuck out of this guy. And I was going to beat the fuck out of this guy. This guy has cost me Twitter. This guy has cost me money. This guy has cost me a job at Wrestling Inc. And I was ready to fucking beat the shit out of this guy. But there was literally nothing there. No balls, no resistance to anything I was saying. You're a fat fuck. Your fucking content's horrendous. Your girlfriend's a fucking moron.
Yeah, you were hot.
Nothing.
You were pretty. That was probably the hottest I've seen you. Like when you were dying to fucking get into it at that point. Yeah, it was a completely different video than what people have seen from the other shit. So it's funny because I cannot stand the people that are the hypocrite people, where it's all that talk and then I'm working. What? I'm an adult.
I don't fight. I'm an adult. Like that's what he kept saying. I don't fight. I'm an adult.
And then he had to throw in that I'm here representing a company. My company sent me here that pays me very well. That was thrown in there. My company pays me very well. Thank you.
I was like, and I said, like, why do I give a fuck? I'm not working. You are. It's like, exactly. I'm working. I was like, when are you not working? Just tell me when you're not fucking working and we'll do it. I'm not going to face you, dude. And it was like throwing in the dude like we're on some sort of good terms. I'm not going to face you, dude. I'm an adult. It's like, yeah, but you're also an adult who shouldn't stir up fucking pointless shit on social media. So you need to be an adult in both sides, because if you don't act like an adult on there, then I'm going to beat the fuck out of you in real life. Unless you're a complete fucking pussy with no balls who actually shows no willingness and I've never seen 100% resistance from any man in that situation, no matter how much of a pussy you are. And he's the biggest pussy I've ever met in my life. He had no willingness, no heart, no balls, no nothing. No, could you even believe how weak he was?
Yeah, I mean, not even to
Even
like he didn't
for
even mouth off back to you because I think he'd be worried that you were gonna haul off and clock him. So he didn't even open his mouth to say. He didn't say like one like fuck you or anything like that. All it was is I'm not gonna fight you. Why would you fight in front of your son? I'm not. I'm an adult. He never said a fucking word otherwise.
He was denying sending one tweet. It was like, oh, I didn't send that tweet. He goes, I was really upset with you. I didn't send that one tweet. And there's the other one where he was like, oh, you know, I thought we were cool. We made eye contact, but nothing happened. And I was surprised.
What?
It was like, well, you're not surprised. I'm not, you're not fucking surprised now, are you? I've come up to you, haven't I? So I said, because you fucking tweeted. And I even told him, I let you slide. I let you slide last time. And then you had to fucking go and say something. So
yeah,
I don't know. Like, they just don't have any they just don't have any balls. And I even think like, even Sap putting up his fucking couple of minutes of resistance was for the camera because he had nothing to lose. It was a win-win situation. You stand your ground and your fan base will pretend you're a hero.
Yeah. You
get punched, you get the arrest that you set out to get. So
and the victim.
You know, but here's the thing, Cav. Last thing I'll say on it. These fuckers are they're going to have to come to England to carry us to cover a stadium show.
I was about to say that. And also it will, because Satin is more isn't he like only WWE or does he do both?
No, I think he only does WWE. So.
Well, then he's coming for Money in the Bank. He has to. He does those stupid interviews.
Well, I don't know if he'll come for Money in the Bank, but the thing is, if he does, the thing is with him is that can't go anywhere because there's no, it can't go anywhere. Like that was it. I already decided to have that confrontation at that point, and it just didn't go anywhere. Really it's only ever going to be an assault. It's never going to be a fight with him. With Sean Ross Sapp, it might, you know, turn into an actual fight where it might be a case of, oh, hey, well, you know, you started the fight, and in my country, that's a police caution or a slap on the wrist or a fine or whatever, and I'll pay that, no problem. But with Ryan Satin, it's an assault.
Picking up. Yeah, that is because you're picking on a guy who wants none, and you know, you're beating up a retarded child, so you can't do that. The fucking Sap thing though, that's waiting to fucking happen. That's waiting to happen. It's too much shit talking. So it's gotta fucking come down. As a man, you kinda gotta deal with it. So well, we'll see when old Wembley Stadium happens, how that goes for the big giant announcement, which I'm dying to hear the prediction of how many seats do you think are gonna be sold. What's a fail and what's a solid win for them for seats sold in Wembley? Because I said I don't think they got enough tarp to block off how many people aren't going to be there.
No. I think that they have a chance and it will be a success if they can do 60,000, but they would only be with pricing starting at £15, around about £50 to a maximum. I would only go ringside for about 400. Events have not been priced up like that since 20 years ago.
Yeah.
We've moved way past that level of pricing, but in order to get an attendance anywhere near SummerSlam 92, they would have to go way back and they would have to price like SummerSlam 92. Then they would have a chance because people would see it as great value. And then you might get people coming out, because the thing that people underestimate, and it happens all the time, like when we go to soccer games are priced up moderately. They start at about £30, and the highest ticket at Manchester United, if it's not hospitality, is £58. And that's the biggest club in the country, right? So £58 is the highest ticket, the best priced ticket. But what, you think that's high?
No, that's nothing. Like compared to like NFL. Oh my God.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, and we pay the NFL prices when NFL comes over. But this is not the NFL, it's AEW. So if they go with soccer prices, the other thing you need to take into consideration is that when I go to Manchester United and I make a commitment to watch one game, I get £58 ticket for me, a £15 ticket for Austin as a junior ticket. I then have a hotel room usually for 3 nights, which ends up costing me about another £360. I then need to travel there, so my petrol will end up costing me about £80-90. So on top of the the 75 or 65 or whatever the 2 tickets cost me, 75, sorry, whatever the 2 tickets cost me, I'm then looking at around about £380 of additional costs on top of food and whatnot or whatever, programs. Yeah, it's about £500 per game. So whatever they price the tickets up for, coming to London and people wanting to stay in London hotels, they're going to be looking at £100 maybe for that single night on top of that, and the travel from whatever areas they're coming from. So as cheap as the ticket is, you then need to multiply that by 4 or 5 to get to the total cost of what it's going to cost. And that might be what puts people off. Unless you can get people to drive in from the London area, which means you'd be picking up your wrestling fans from Essex and Kent and all of the outskirts of London, I don't think that would be enough to fill up the stadium. But I think the first objective is to price it up cheaply. The second objective is to get people there. And if people are turning around, I've seen a couple of arguments that are so fucking stupid that I don't even know where to start with dissecting them. But I'll simply dissect them as easy as I can. The first one is the fact that AEW is the biggest wrestling company in the UK, the most watched company in the UK, so they'll be fine. AEW is on free television. It's on free television, right?
Yeah.
It's on ITV. ITV is free, like the BBC, like Channel 4. It's one of our free channels over here. It means that all 60 million people that live here can get it. And they draw 200,000 people, right? Mm-hmm. Which is more than what the WWE do. But the WWE are on BT Sports, which is a subscription channel. Now, first of all, Sky and BT collectively between them have 25 million subscribers, but they don't necessarily subscribe to the sports channels. Now, the information as to exactly how many people subscribe to each sports channel isn't available, but the fact is that BT have been hemorrhaging money from buying the Champions League and buying the WWE and buying all of these other programming that they've bought, and they've not been able to make money on that. So they've had to do a merger with another company, or in fact, I think they've been bought out. So that was not successful for them. They didn't have enough subscribers to warrant everything that they purchased. So I would estimate that they have roughly around about 1 to 1.5 million people who are able to watch WWE, of which WWE do a pretty decent number of 150,000 people a week on there, which means every 1 out of 10 people who can watch WWE do watch it. So that's 10% of the BT subscribers watch WWE. Now tell me the percentage of 200,000 out of 60 million. Right, I'll tell you what it is.
Okay,
I'll get
thank
the
you.
fucking calculator and do it right now because it's a minuscule amount. So 60 million people divided by 200,000. Hold on, I did that wrong. 60 million people divided by. Okay. My calculator's coming up with 300. That's not a percentage. I need to do a percentage here.
So I'll ask Siri. What is it? What am I saying? How many people in the subscribe?
200,000 watches. It's 200,000 divided by 60 million. Hold on. Times 100. Okay, that's right. 0.333333% of people who can watch AW do watch AW. So that is a massive difference. They are not the number one wrestling company in this country by a long shot. When you add the fact that WWE can be watched on YouTube and they have a repeat show on Channel 5 and Obviously, a lot of people can illegally stream it because nobody's going to buy BT, I don't think, just for WWE unless you're a super fan. And also, like, the numbers I'm giving you are the numbers of people who actually watch Raw live, and it doesn't take into fact like DVR numbers and things like that. Although, you know, the AW number doesn't either.
Yeah.
But ultimately, I would say they are nowhere near the biggest company, because the comparison that I've seen is WWE did 62,000 people for Clash, and WWE are not as big as AEW in the UK. That's fucking bullshit. WWE have had a footprint here since 1989. They did a SummerSlam here in 1992. They had a song that was number 4 in the Christmas charts. Had that song come out at any other time of the year, it would have been a number 1 single in the whole of the UK. That's how big the WWE were. WWE have been selling action figures here. Slam Jam.
Really?
Yeah.
Jesus.
And WrestleMania was number 7 as well when it came out after that.
Wow.
So WWE have been selling action figures in this country since 1990, and successfully as well, 33 years. So I started watching wrestling after I got an action figure of it. I'm thinking, what is this thing someone's bought me? That was the order of. I got a Jake the Snake and Hulk Hogan before I knew who they were. Someone bought me them, thinking I watched it, and then I didn't, but then I did afterwards.
That's funny.
So ultimately, that's where we sit with that. And WWE 62,000, that was a massively papered crowd. They tried to capitalize on this country desperately wanting another SummerSlam, and they priced very average tickets at £400. They had travel packages at 10 grand, which had 4 nights in a hotel with a ringside ticket and a couple of meet and greets. It was ridiculous. They really overestimated how much we wanted to see that event, and we wanted that event badly, but we're also in the midst of a fucking cost of living crisis where our gas bills have gone 4 times higher. Our income has been reduced from the pandemic as we continue to like pay back all of the furlough and shit that we got, all the free money we got suddenly is being paid back. We're paying more for gas, more for electricity, just everything in general. It's a fucking shit show over here. No one's got any fucking money, and they wanted to try and charge us an average ticket price of £400 to go to Clash at the Castle. I know fucking Umar didn't even go to that show because I think of what it cost, and he's a lawyer. So
I thought you were going to say he's a mark.
And he's a mark. He's a mark lawyer. But yeah, he's also black, and they don't like to spend money. No,
I thought that was Jewish.
I think it's black people too, and Asians. I think it's only
Asians,
white
I
people.
Can see. I think the black thing, they just say they don't have money. That's why we're the best show on the fucking planet over here.
I think what it is that they either they don't know how to save money.
There
they
you
have
go.
Too much money. But that's another. It could be. I think with black people, it's one extreme or the other. If they have money, they'll fucking blow it. Like if they have a lot of money, they'll blow it. But if they don't, if they have a normal amount of money, they won't fucking spend it. And then you have the Indians and the Jews who just won't spend it regardless. Like I know some fucking tight as fuck Indians who just will not fucking spend money on anything at all. Like, I mean, my mum's one of these fucking people. Like, I said to her, she was like, "Oh, you know, how's Austin?" I was like, "Yeah, he's having fun." And I knew she hadn't given him any money for holiday. And I said, "Oh, he's using this. He's got this credit card where everybody's giving him dollars, but everyone's giving him money, but you can't spend cash over it. So I put it all on a cash passport, right?"
Mm-hmm.
She was like, she'd go, "Oh, I've forgotten to give him money, so I'll give him some." And she went, "Oh, that's nice. A woman's as tight as fuck." Like I borrowed when I was close to buying my house outright and I didn't have a mortgage, and my parents turn around and goes, "Oh, you only need 75 more grand and you don't need a mortgage, so we'll give it to you." My dad gave me half and my mum gave me half. My mum's half I had to pay back with interest.
Oh, that's funny. My God, with interest.
Because she's the Indian on that side. And my dad's Arab, so he's like that. So yeah. Honestly, I think like I think the Jews, the Indians, the blacks, they're all like fucking super tight. I think just blowing money's a white thing, to be honest.
That's funny.
But anyway, I forgot what I was fucking talking
let's go on to something else. We're spending enough time on something that we didn't even plan to talk about. NXT, you went to the show?
Yeah, I went to NXT at 9:50 in the morning.
See, now, I mean, I liked it because I was like, oh, good. I practically, it's an early thing. I really wish they didn't have 2-night Mania because I did like Friday was this, Saturday is this, Sunday is the big show, Do you watch NXT at all? Because I haven't watched in fucking like, I only watch when it's these pay-per-view, quote unquote, pay-per-view things. That's the only time I watch.
So I watch it in bits and pieces. So here was a funny thing, right? So I went on there and I'm getting loads of shit from these people, like these fucking morons online saying, oh, it broke into a fucking skybox or whatever and all this shit. So, oh, that's not your fucking box. Yeah, it's not my box because I don't fucking pay $10,000 a year for an arena I don't go to. But when I was going for tickets, there was an email. There was a section there and it said, what did it fucking say? They're not skyboxes or hospitality boxes or something. It said hospitality boxes available now for like, and it was flashing up for huge discounts or whatever it was. It was like a discount thing. So I went on there, and yeah, these hospitality boxes were like way down. It was like fucking $99 per person to have a hospitality ticket. And the thing is that the stupid thing is on StubHub, the tickets for NXT were down to like fucking $11 or $12 or whatever to get into the arena. I only needed one hospitality ticket to get into the hospitality, right?
Yeah.
And then if Austin came in with me, he didn't need one as well. So I only worked this out afterwards like a moron. But anyway, I dropped the 200 and thought I'd go up there. But there weren't any fucking, like, these people were saying, oh, if that was really your box, it would have food and everything in there. But it wasn't. And when I asked for like saying, oh, is there anything in there? There was like, oh yeah, you get to use the fridge, and there was like some fucking water in there and some stuff to make coffee with or whatever, but it wasn't fucking stocked. Now, I didn't go in to investigate why that was or if that was something I was entitled to for my fucking $99 or whatever. But ultimately, like, I did not enjoy watching the show up there. So 2 matches in, I moved down to hard cam anyway, and watched the show where I knew I could have got a free ticket for it. But in the end, I don't like to use my free tickets up pointlessly. If a ticket's like fucking $11, which is what it was, I just figured, fuck it. Like, I'm not going to fucking put in for a comp for this. I'm not going to fucking text like any of my guys to say, oh, I need NXT tickets when it's fucking costing fuck all to go.
Yeah.
And especially when a box was $99. But yeah, I mean, the novelty of it was there, and Austin was enjoying like sitting on the fucking sofa and all that shit. But after a while, it was like, yeah, we can go sit down at hard cam. It's absolutely empty and do it. The only thing I regret is that I did it after I watched Tiffany's and Gigi's ass from higher up than I should have done.
Well, you couldn't miss Gigi's ass. I told you she's smoking mirrors. She is not those fucking pictures that you see of her. When she comes out and there was a pizza box attached to the back of her. Fucking, I don't know how you think that's a fucking nice ass.
Well, Austin got a picture of her in real life, and I need to get that off him because I'm trying to post my WWE pictures. He actually got a lot of pictures with women.
Well, I saw him with Liv. I was jealous about that.
Liv, Bianca, Rhea, right after the match, which is a great picture. Did you see that?
No.
Right after WrestleMania. Oh, this is the best picture because it's like as she's coming out of the match, and you know these people are like, oh, you got kicked out of this place. I've never been kicked out of anywhere in my entire life ever. Not at fucking Starcast, not at fucking WrestleCon, not at fucking WrestleMania, not SmackDown Raw. Do you really think that's going to happen? It's fucking one, and in fact, in part 2 of the show, you're going to find out like exactly why that wouldn't happen ever. So yeah, I actually got this picture immediately after the match, which is a
great picture. She's still got the shit all over her face, the fucking Rudy Giuliani melting face.
Yeah. So he got Rhea, Liv, Bianca. What's that one with the Nikita Lyons?
Mm-hmm.
Who are we just talking about? Gigi Dolan. we've already said Liv, but by far the one that you went over and saw and was like, oh my fucking, and Scarlett he got as well. And one you looked over by far and was like, oh my God, like she's just ridiculous, was Maxine Dupree.
Yeah.
Just absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, that's a very model quality for sure. So going into, we're going to finish up the first half of the show with Mania Night 1, and then we're going to do the second part. And there's no waiting for the second part. It'll be on the same feed right after it. When I did my show and I did the review of everything, right? And we did that on Patreon. I made a public apology about the showcase tag team match because I was shocked how fucking good it was, and that because I thought that was going to be the real dog shit match, obviously, because I'm like, why is this even on the show? It was really fucking good. I thought probably the worst match was the Cena match.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, I was fucking like, oh, this is a fucking bore. Like when you start to wander and look at your phone during it, and I'm like, this is really shit. You know, I was really not into it. What was your thoughts for night 1 altogether? I was really glad that they. I saw Flair was all pissed off that the women's match was not the main event. It's just so fucking dumb. It's so dumb that he would be mad. And I got his argument for a second, where it was, if you're treating this like proper, the woman who won the Royal Rumble should main event one show, and the man who won Royal Rumble should main event the second show. If that's the, it's world title. It's not the world we live in. It's that title is not the most important. The best storyline is the most important. Didn't Hogan WrestleMania 7? No, 7, where it was him and Sid, right? That was
No.
Or is 8? That's 8. Sorry. That wasn't a fucking main event, really. That wasn't a title match. But they were fucking had like the storyline, so they went on last. It's always storyline has to fucking go. Because I mean, Punk didn't get to fucking do main event shit.
No, and they thought that Hogan was going to retire, or he was going to semi-retire at that point after that match anyway. So yeah, it's not always happened, and over the last few years, especially, the Royal Rumble winner has not gone on to main event WrestleMania, particularly on the women's side. But obviously, he's always like this with his daughter. He thinks she's the best thing since sliced bread. But ultimately, my overriding take of it is that night 1 was so much better once again, and this is for the 3rd year in a row that night 1 has been better. They seem to stack that night up to sell the tickets because they have the main event on the other side, and night 2 was a legitimate sellout. I'll tell you how legitimately fucking sold out it was on the other side of the show. It was fucking annoying. But this one, there were people. I had 2 different groups. 2 seats in front of me, and I had 3 different groups sit in those fucking seats. First, it was a man and his kid. They got moved by people who I thought were sitting there. And then those people left, and 2 other people came into their seats. And then the 2 people that were there initially but seemed to disappear for 2 hours then came back and moved them. So it was bizarre. Like, people were just trying to move around. If you left your seat, I missed this fatal 4-way tag match, and people were in my seat, and I was like, "Fuck off, get out of my seat." So, yeah, it was annoying like that. That I didn't need to pay so much for night 1 for these riser seats, but I did still, and yeah, so I enjoyed nearly everything. Just eliminating what I didn't enjoy. I wanted Cena to win. I thought it would have been good for Austin to see it. Good for the crowd. Good start. I was certain he was going to win when I saw them Make-A-Wish kids. When I saw the dying kids, I was like, "Oh my God, he's
dying and retards."
It's like, yeah, dying and retarded kids. Yeah, I thought that's the formula to win. And he did not win, which was a big surprise at that point. Not really going in, but after they saw the presentation, and I was already leaning towards him winning because it was the opening match. By the way, I recorded a lot of podcasts while I was over there for the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. Mm-hmm. One of them was the WrestleMania preview, and fucking Austin went 100% on night one, including picking this winner of this match and picking Rey Mysterio, and everything else went on through the night. So I did not like this opening match. I did not see the Fatal 4-Way, and I did not enjoy the 6-woman tag. That was a prime example of just chucking women on the card, to fill out the quota, right? Yeah. Everything else was fucking phenomenal. We both said Logan Paul winning the world title would not be an issue with us if he was to win this world title at one point, because he's just so fucking good. And with the heel heat he gets and everything like that, that would definitely work for me. I like the spot with KSI. I don't know if Americans know who KSI is as much as we do in England, but
yeah, like we all thought it was fucking R-Truth. I had no clue, because R-Truth is in those ads. And I'm like, oh, it's R-Truth.
Thanks to you, right?
Yeah, so that was we didn't know. Yeah,
I was saying they all look the same to you, don't they?
Yeah, I think that's what we said. We went, well, I'm like, tell me people didn't think that was R-Truth from America. Bullshit.
No, he has like KSI has that big fucking forehead as well. Like, so yeah, I'll give you that, and the same hairstyle. But yeah, I mean, that was fucking great, and that obviously resonated with Austin, who knows them both and sees them both as equals, which they're not. Logan Paul's significantly more famous. Oh, by the way, going back a little bit, the Satin fight, me, Satin and Satin, was stopped by Logan Paul's dad.
That's the greatest.
Who moved me away from there and asked me what the problem was, and I actually told him, like, this guy did this, that, and the other. He goes, yeah, well, he's a douchebag. Then just leave. I understand why he's so annoyed. And I goes, Austin come over and goes, you're Logan Paul's dad? He was like, yeah. He goes, you like Logan? He's like, yeah. He's gonna get a picture. I was like, yeah. So just totally diffused it straight away. But yeah, that was a great match. That Rhea Ripley, Charlotte, I think the best women's match I think I've seen. And I said this on Twitter and got loads of hate. People were like, oh, why just be so negative? Why can't you just like appreciate both? It's like, no, because that's not the fucking point. And my point was, if you pretend that everything's great. Listen to the word great, Great. Mm-hmm. If you pretend everything is great and incredible, then when something great and incredible actually happens, then it doesn't mean as much. And that was what I was referring to last year. Everybody pretended that Bianca and Becky had this great match. They had a good match, right? Mm-hmm. But it was the over-emphasis on, Bianca and Sasha's such a great main event, and Bianca again with Becky, and all these matches are phenomenal. No, they're all right, because there's loads of mistakes in them. They were clunky, there were errors, but, they sold well. Like, they did some good spots and they had some good kickouts, and it was good. It was decent. But you can't fucking throw all of these superlatives at these fucking matches. And then when something legitimate comes along and it really is all of those things, then what do you have left to say? Then you're stuck doing what that fucking idiot Dave Meltzer had to do. Because when he already gave out his 5 stars and blew his load over all of his Jap shit, right? He then could only go to 6 stars, because what he watched afterwards in his mind was significantly better than what he'd already given 5 stars to. Now he's just a discredited old man who has no information, and he fucked up his own star rating by going 6 out of 5, which is so moronic that you can't even explain to someone that doesn't watch wrestling how that even happened. 6 out of 5, 7 out of 5 he's got there now. Like, he's done as far as credibility goes. Had he done it correctly in the first place, and that's what should have happened with Bianca and Becky, because once you turn around and say, oh, this is great, this is fucking 4.5 stars, then what do you have to give to Rhea and Charlotte? You have to go 5. There's no choice but to say that. And their match was significantly better than anything women have ever done, in terms of near falls, in terms of selling, in terms of like execution. Everything was done perfectly. This was the greatest women's match ever. Not even fucking close. Nothing comes close to it. And you know why? Because they fought like 2 fucking men. That's why it was so fucking good, because it looked like 2 men fighting in a fucking match and being as stiff as fuck as each other. This looked like a Drew McIntyre Sheamus match, and that is the biggest compliment you can pay to women, because they didn't look like women out there. They weren't doing their fucking clunky, shitty running off the ropes where none of them can do it properly. All this do-si-do bullshit. No, this was a fucking stiff, fucking hard-hitting match with real selling that made sense. The Ray match was good. I didn't expect him to win. Austin did. Bad Bunny's involvement sets up Backlash. Dominic Mysterio's entrance might have been the best ever.
Apparently, they got in trouble for that. Did you hear about this?
Yeah, I saw that day.
Who would even have fucking noticed it was a flash on the screen? Who would have fucking known? That's wild as fuck. That's unbelievable.
The losers who watch this, the ones that are always trying to get everything canceled. Like, you know the answer to your own question.
And for people who don't know, there was when they were showing different prisons and the barbed wires and the bars inside when Dom was doing his promo, one of the flashed pictures was of Auschwitz. So the guy who put it together obviously just Googled, prison or prison camps and said, oh, that looks like a cool prison picture, and posted it up. And it's literally, it's not even a second. It's on the screen. So somebody had to go through every single one of those fucking flashes and put it into like Google to try to find out. That's fucking wild to me. Yeah, but
is that not a prison though?
It is a prison. It's a different kind. It's for people who got locked up for not doing anything wrong. So that's a little different and just executed. But you were talking about the best women's match of all time. I don't know. I've seen quite a bit of Marina Shafir matches, and I don't know if that holds a candle, Billy.
Is she still working there?
Apparently she is. She was just on the other day, and you hear Moxley was on a podcast jerking off about her, how great she is. I'm like, Put her in the Combat Club then. They need a woman. Put her in there. Maybe it'd actually help her. But nobody ever did a promo as good as Shafir. That promo was the greatest thing I've ever seen in my fucking life. The "you know me, you don't know me" promo. It's the greatest.
Yeah, no, I see that.
Yeah.
So where the main event? So the main event, Meltzer's giving it 5 stars. I actually thought it was a good match, but it wasn't my favorite of the night. I think that they went very over the top and down the Young Bucks kind of route with this, which is probably why Dave loved it so much, because that's what he likes. But I didn't think it was by far. But I don't have any issue with it being the main event. I just feel that Charlotte and Rhea went out to make a point to say, well, fuck you, we should have main evented. And that, I wonder how things would have gone the other way had people had exhausted themselves out with that Sammy Usos match.
Mm-hmm.
Sammy and Owens match, had that been earlier, and people had conserved, wouldn't have conserved energy and just gone all out for that.
Mm-hmm.
And then, if the women's match would have been as good had the crowd not had that much left in the tank. But I think they actually benefited from not going last, because I think everybody was behind everything that they did. So I think everything worked out better, because there was no way that Sammy and Owens weren't going to get cheered. It was the safest thing to put there in the spot. It was the safest thing to make sure that people didn't leave early to get out of that fucking hellhole, shithole SoFi Stadium, which I hope I never go back there ever again.
It is in Inglewood, after all. It's not really, Hollywood.
Three fucking hours to get out of that place, and the next day it still took 2 hours. But at least a listener from K100 text me on or DM me on Twitter to ask me if I wanted to lift back.
Oh, that's hilarious.
At least I saved the fucking $85 that night.
I was going to say, I was like, what, you drove there? Wouldn't you get out and just walk a couple blocks and then call an Uber? Like when you get to a McDonald's down the block or something?
Oh, I fucking did. Yeah. I walked, there was a route where we were supposed to walk out of there, which, got you past all of the traffic and into a neighborhood, but everybody was doing the same thing. And everybody in this neighborhood wanted to fucking shoot you. So, that was the fucking issue. It was the fucking ghetto of Inglewood that you had to walk into to get a taxi. And even then it would take like an hour or two. You were only actually safe because you were surrounded by all the other wrestling fans and whatnot. And like, I had so many fucking offers on my chair, like on night 2, like offer after offer after offer. Austin actually sold his chair.
Oh, really? How much did he get?
$300.
Probably got 5, right?
No.
Oh,
Well,
really?
I don't think you can get 5.
So you took yours back. You had to fucking bring that on a plane?
Yeah.
Wow, I had mine shipped to me for when I did Mania 13. I had it shipped back home because I was like, how the fuck am I taking that on a fucking plane? So I still got that chair. It was 5th row.
The plane's like $75 to ship an additional piece of baggage. I don't think the shipping would have cost like that. I think the shipping would have cost a lot more.
I wonder how much I could sell my Mania chair from 13 for. Because that back in the day, that was when it was only first 5 rows got the chair. That was it. And I was 5th row.
It's still that. And this time it's even worse because this was one of the stupidest Manias because if you didn't have the right wristband, you didn't get to take your chair home. You only got to sit in it.
Really?
So there was an additional $150 that had to be paid for a commemorative chair on every ticket. And if you got to sit in it, you got to take it home immediately with a grey wristband. If you sat in like the fucking nosebleeds, but you added a chair to your order, that would be shipped out to you after the event.
No shit, it was shipped out to you. That's the nice part about it. At least they ship it to you.
Yeah, so you got a shit seat, but chair shipped out to you. I was tempted to do that actually. I was tempted to fucking get the chair shipped out to you through after buying it through them, but I didn't. In the end, I ended up getting a chair the next day.
Is that all we got for this one? We want to jump into show number 2 for everybody and go into more stuff, or you got anything else that's with night 1? I thought that main event was good because of the obviously it's the story. If the match was even just so, it was finally the end of a story that was, pent up forever. So that really brings a lot more things to it. And the storytelling of the emotions and Sammy kind of looking at Jay before he killed him, like, here we go, one of those things. So it was like, here we go, here's the ending. I think that kind of helped things. But, it was a fine match. I'm not thinking it's a fucking, the greatest fucking tag match of all time or anything like that. But... yeah, night 1 in the books. Shall we jump over and jump into night 2, Billy? Give some plugs here, and we'll go into night 2. Plus, what we're going to talk about over there is a weird chick that stalked Billy, K100 information, night 2, and the Raw after Mania. Billy, where can we find your stuff before we jump into that?
Yeah, so everything I do for gambling is over at lockbetting.com, the website. You can do your research on the website because there's all the spreadsheets are at lockbetting.com. The pin suite at lockbetting.com is the P&L from the previous month. This service is now delivered 118 months in a row of profit. So in 2 months, we'll be able to say we've been undefeated for a decade. So if you want to get your betting picks, sign up. And you don't have to go for top packages. There's cheap packages on there. Like you can just get bonus podcasts. You can get all my sports podcasts for like $15 a month. So it's well worth checking out. All my wrestling stuff is over at thedirtysheets.com. You can get a package there that gives you all the news for fucking $5 a month. I actually have a story that I'm going to post out today after the show. Just learned some information about someone that's going to become very important from UFC to the WWE.
All right, all my nonsense, look up on Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, everything is at Lingus Mafia, and my patreon.com/Lingus Mafia. As little as $5, you get all these bonus wrestling shows, including all the Mania reviews. Or if you just want the free stuff, just type in Lingus Mafia wherever you get your podcast. He's Billy. I'm Cav. Go listen to part 2.